Alright, so before I head to bed here, I need to turn my PlayStation off. What the fuck? Hold up, let me. What the fuck? Where's my remote at? Fuck. Turn my PlayStation off. We are going to talk about NBA. There were a couple of good games on tonight, like 3 of them. We're going to talk Nets, Pacers, Warriors, Hawks, and then Bucks and Kings to close that out. And then we will get into more of the March Madness stuff. Hopefully my mic is working. We're good. Okay. Nets and Pacers. Nets and Pacers have had a couple really good games this year against each other, so kind of cool here. Let's talk about it. Pascal Siakam's late scoring flurry helps the Pacers fend off a hard charging Nets. They win by 5. The Nets are trying to make like a final push to make the play-in possibly. That's really like what they're doing right now. Last ditch effort at that. Final 3.5 minutes, he scored 8 points. Shout out to Pascal Siakam, really good scoring night, and he scored when it mattered. And shout out to Miles Turner for being one of the best stretch bigs in the league and scoring at a very high level. And they get it going. Halliburton and Obi Toppin had a nasty alley-oop. That was fucking badass, man. And Tyrese Halliburton was hitting some tough shots all game. Made for some good basketball. Again, Obi Toppin, using his athleticism to get to the rim. Shout out to Benedict Mathurin, played really good defense this game for the Pacers. But you look at the Nets, you get a 20-point performance for Cam Johnson. 26 points off the bench for Trenton Wofford. He played pretty good. He shot 50% from 3. I think Terrence Martin could definitely play a little better. Again, like Trenton Watford can come off the bench and kind of fill in and do some really good scoring, but Terrence Martin could have done a little more, I think, especially, and even like a guy like Nick Claxton. I love him as a rebounder. He's a really good traditional big, but one of those guys is going to have to step up if they want to win games, which obviously is probably not going to happen too often. Pascal Siakam, 26 points. He shot 50%. 22 points for Miles Turner. He shot 50% from 3. And then, 16 points, 12 assists for Tyrese Halliburton, just kind of doing everything in between. Almost had a triple-double this game. And the Pacers get the victory. Moving on to the Warriors and the Hawks. Trae Young and Georges Niang lead the Hawks past the Warriors. They win by 9. The Hawks are trying to hold some steady position in the East play-in picture. 41st double-double of the season for Trae Young. Great passing, great scoring. He is one of the best, dual threat offensive players. Passing and scoring is done at such a balance when he is in the game. And it continues to get under-respected. I don't even know if I talk about this that much, but, dude, I love Trae Young as a player. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the NBA for this reason. They get the victory. Karis LeVert had some pretty nice offense. Sorry about outside. Really good game, man. I mean, Karis LeVert hit some really tough shots, yeah. And Georges Niang, obviously, supplying from the three-point land. That's what he does. Dominic Barlow hit some tough shots. Look at the Warriors. Curry is hurt, so that kind of sucks. But, I mean, the Warriors didn't play terrible. 25 points for Jimmy Butler. Moses Moody had 20. It's just Draymond Green. I think at the end of the day, Draymond Green being on the starting lineup is just not sustainable, man. I'm telling you, he's a vet. He needs to come off the bench. GP2, Buddy Hield, and Jonathan Kuminga, those are fine scoring options off the bench. I just don't like Draymond's lack of offense now. It hasn't really killed this dynasty in recent years, but, dude, now that we don't have Klay Thompson on this team, now that, we're, even long removed from the Kevin Durant era, guys like Draymond Green playing on the wing and not being able to score and shooting 25% from 3, it's ugh. I don't know, dude. You look at the Hawks, shouts on Onyeka Okongwu, he continues to be an absolute fucking beast. 22 points, 12 rebounds. He shot 67% from 3. 25 points, 10 assists for Trae Young while shooting 60%. Dyson Daniels had a good game. He had 12 points, 11 rebounds. He shot 40% from 3. And then 23 points off the bench for Georges Niang while shooting 67% from 3. So, really good game for the Hawks. Shout out to them. They really good team effort. Everyone put their best foot forward and got together and they won a game. So shout out to the Hawks. Bucks and Kings up next. Giannis Antetokounmpo has 32 points and 17 rebounds in the Bucks. A 6-point win over the Kings. It's obviously a sluggish start for the Bucks going into this game, but hey, Giannis Antetokounmpo got it done against scoring, rebounding at such a high level, something he's been doing in the league for such a long time now, leading him to a win, being a leader, just trying to close out this season on a good note. And they've been doing a good job, throughout the season. Obviously, they didn't have the greatest start to the season in the first place, but yeah, man, And shout out to Giannis for being a playmaker again, just elevating his game further. Like you would think he's already kind of like a perfect player, but dude, he just gets better and better every year. It's crazy. Made some plays happen. Obviously Zach LaVine's going to be athletic and get to the rim, and it made for good basketball. But and Giannis, man, I just got to keep saying stuff about Giannis because, man, he played really well on both sides of the ball as well as he always does. He put up 32 points, 17 rebounds while shooting 60%. Like, it's just incredible. You look at his numbers, and I've talked about this with people before. He is such an underrated pick for MVP. I don't think he should win MVP even for how good he's playing, but very strong consideration I think he should get. Kyle Kuzma had a good game. 14 points, 14 rebounds. He shot 33% from 3, 50% overall. Brook Lopez added 21 points. He shot 50% from 3. Really good stuff. They played good in the absence of Damian Lillard, which again is what good teams do. They adapt to their star players being hurt. DeMar DeRozan for the Sacramento Kings had 22 points. 20 points for Keon Ellis. He had a really nice breakout game, shooting 60% overall. And in all honesty, I don't even think the Kings played that bad. I think they were missing a couple of guys. Now, I guess, they're trying out Devin Carter, and they're trying to get him kind of accustomed to the system and play him a bunch. But other than that, I think for what they had in their rotation, they didn't play terrible, if I'm being honest. No Malik Monk. It's going to make it tough, of course. He is your third option scorer. So, there you have it. Looking at the NCAA tournament, we're going to be doing this today and tomorrow. There's no games until Thursday. So, today, Saturday, and tomorrow, Sunday, we will be obviously talking about the good NCAA games, and then early throughout the week for the first 3 days of the week, we can kind of focus more on NBA basketball as we're honing in on the playoffs. So that's going to be good. We have some games to talk about. We're going to start with Gonzaga, Houston. Man, I tried to tell people Gonzaga was going to make this a good game because when we were in Wichita and we saw them play, they're a great fucking team. And they're probably the best 8 seed, if I'm being honest. I think they're better than UConn. I think they're probably better than Baylor, who was the 9 seed that won. Creighton and them are pretty close. I think those two are pretty neck and neck. But there were some really good 8-9 seeds this year. But the number 1 seed, Houston, holds off a Gonzaga comeback. They beat the number 8 seed Bulldogs by 5 to reach the Sweet 16. LJ Cryer having one of the best games of his career and doing it at the right time. Man, I love him as a player. I've grown to love him as a player. He's awesome. 2 free throws with 14.2 seconds left, and they hold on. It's their 6th straight Sweet 16. I mean, this basketball program and just their consistency needs to be talked about more. And it's really heartbreaking to see Khalif Battle do that at the end of the game because, man, he had such a good first-round game. Very unfortunate. Malik Wilson shouts to Houston. Good defense. I mean, that's something that this team imposes on other teams throughout the tournament is just defense. Shout out to Milo Zuzan. He was hitting threes. Emmanuel Sharp had some tough shots. Yeah, man, LJ Cryer just came out and had such a hot start. It was going to be hard to beat them. Man, someone on the Bulldogs I've really been enjoying watching, and obviously they're not going to play anymore, but Graham Ike, that is a guy I have pretty high hopes for. I don't know what he's looking like on the draft boards, but the man had 27 points and he shot 67% from 3. And shout out to Ryan Nembhard, brother of an NBA player, 10 points, 11 assists. He shot 50% from 3, 60% overall. And obviously, Khalif Battle directly cost them the game, but Nolan Hickman, I guess he got in foul trouble. I don't know what was going on with him in the rotation. He didn't even score. I mean, they have a good bench, too. They have Michael Ajayi. You have Emmanuel Innocenti, Ben Gregg, Dusty Stromer. I've heard a lot about him. I think he was pretty good in high school. But, yeah, I don't know what. Noah Hickman. I don't know where he was at. But you look at the Houston Cougars, man. Wish it was my Cougars in it. But Joseph Tugler, 10 points, 11 rebounds. And, yeah, man, 30 fucking points for LJ Cryer. I don't know how you can beat a team with a guy like LJ Cryer on it. That shit is insane. But we're going to kind of get into the main event next because we had Arkansas and St. John's squaring off, and I knew this was going to be a good one, and my goodness, did it fucking deliver. Two college basketball giants in terms of coaching going against each other, and Sweet 16. Coach Calipari guides Arkansas past Rick Pitino and St. John's by 9 for his 16th trip to the regional semifinal. 16 Sweet 16s. That's a pretty awesome kind of milestone for John Calipari. He's headed to the Sweet 16 for the 16th time, and this one could be the sweetest of all, picking up a big win against a coach he's been really good friends with in the business for a while, and they've been a friendly rivalry. So yeah, shout out to DJ Wagner playing clutch down the stretch. He's awesome. Loved him. He wasn't great on Kentucky, but it's awesome to see him transfer to a program that really cares about him, and now here we are, a 10 seed going to the Sweet 16. It's pretty incredible. Zuby Ejiofor, he's obviously athletic and huge, and he makes it tough for anybody. And, Ruben Prey was getting to the rim. I think more than a lot of other years for the St. John's team, they've had so many athletic players, and like Trevon Brazile getting up for oops, R.J. Lewis Jr. getting up for slams. This is a very much at the rim team. And I'm not even going to lie, Arkansas didn't play great. Like, obviously, shout out to John L. Davis. He's been in college for a little bit. Carter Knox played good. John L. Davis was on FAU. I keep forgetting about that. Billy Richmond had a good game off the bench, but it's not like anyone played spectacular. I think they just came together as a team, and it was a very well-coached effort by John Calipari. Now, you look at the St. John's Red Storm, and you get a really good game from Zuby Ejiofor, 23 points, 12 rebounds. That's really about it for them, though. I mean, Simeon Wilcher could have played a little bit better. They have a really good bench player, and he's really good. Devin Smith, Devin, he's really good. And then they have that Greeky guy coming off the bench, can't say his name, Ruben Prey. Like, they have a decent bench squad, but yeah, I don't know. Let's move on. We're going to talk about UCLA, Tennessee. Man, Tennessee put on a fucking shooting clinic from the three-point line. They looked incredible. Tennessee's March Madness dancing to a program-best third straight Sweet 16. And they've had really good history. Like, Grant Williams has ran through this program. Admiral Schofield, he's not a great NBA player, but he was great in college. They've had some good guys recently, man, but really good for their program. They get to the Sweet 16. They win by 9 over UCLA. Chaz Lanier, absolutely incredible three-point shooting. One of the guys I'm definitely going to be watching in the Sweet 16. He was incredible. He scored at a really high level. Number 2 seed, Tennessee advanced. And this is the hottest this program has looked probably ever. So it's awesome. And, they have Zakai Ziegler helping out with the three-point shooting. Getting floaters, and Igor Milicic getting to the rim. They just have scoring all over the place, and they're such a versatile squad. I have really high hopes for this Tennessee team. Again, shots to Chaz Lanier hitting threes, Felix Akpara being a lob threat. They have it all, and obviously I don't think the Bruins really played to their full potential. They didn't really play that good at all. I wasn't really happy with how Dylan Andrews played, especially when you have a 7'3" guy and a Daymara coming off the bench, and you have Sebastian Mack, and you have Trent Perry, Lazar Stefanovic, William Kyle III. They actually have a really good bench. I guess their bench didn't play that good this game, but being scoreless, I don't know. Looking at Tennessee, yeah, man, 20 points for Chaz Lanier. Shot 80% from 3. That is incredible. Shout out to Chaz Lanier and the Tennessee Vols. We got one more game to talk about. We're going to talk about BYU, Wisconsin. This is a game I'm very proud to say I fucking predicted correctly. One of the only games in my entire bracket, honestly, that I predicted correctly. BYU, Wisconsin, dude. The Mormons, the white boys with the shot. Get it going in the Sweet 16. In March Madness, BYU gets a stop, then gets to go to the Sweet 16 with a 2-point win over Wisconsin. For one night only, let's just call them by phew. That was close. They were up by 10. They fucking kind of fumbled this game, but holy shit, came together, closed out a really good game. Awesome. Throwing down a dunk as time expires. You gotta fucking celebrate. BYU going to the Sweet 16, I don't know how often that has happened for their program, but that's great. Dawson Baker got a flagrant 2. This game got pretty rough. Kabakita had Jimmerford down on their feet, and that's kind of been a cool storyline. Jimmerford had paying close attention to the BYU Cougars throughout the tournament. Richie Sanders, yeah, BYU is crazy. Their crowd was awesome, and Richie Sanders really added to that, being a momentum player, hitting threes. Shout out to Kabakita, being a lob threat. He's awesome. This is a really good team, man. 25 points for Richie Sanders. He shot 75% from 3. That's incredible. Really awesome. You look at the Badgers, 21 points for John Blackwell, and holy cow, what a game for John Tunji. He had 37 points off of 33% three-point shooting. Their bench just did nothing, and obviously it doesn't help that Nolan Winter didn't have the greatest game in the world. Like, he could have played a little better, I think, but their bench was just non-existent, and I think that was a huge problem for the Wisconsin Badgers. But yeah, man, BYU is steady dancing. Looking at tomorrow, I think the 1-8 seed once again with UConn and Florida could be interesting. Baylor and Duke is going to be a phenomenal game to watch, with VJ Edgecombe and Cooper Flagg squaring off 2 of very high up draft prospects. I'm excited to watch Illinois, of course, because they're always fun to watch, and Underwood's an amazing coach. St. Mary's, Bama. I think Bama should handle that. I think Maryland should handle Colorado State. I think Ole Miss, Iowa State has potential to be good. Michigan State should wipe the floor, and I think Oregon, Arizona could actually be a good game as well. So just kind of looking at the odds here, I think Arizona will probably win that game, though. Michigan State will probably destroy them, and I don't know. I guess the games tomorrow aren't great. I don't know. I think most of these are pretty lopsided, except maybe Illinois, Kentucky. That's probably the game to watch tomorrow, is Illinois, Kentucky. So there you have it. I'm out, guys. There's going to be NBA on tomorrow. Actually, I need to look at the games tomorrow. Again, if you decide to tune out of March Madness and watch the NBA, is it even worth it tomorrow? I mean, I guess the Nuggets play the Rockets and the Thunder play the Clippers. Those are going to be some really